brothers, and welcome to the October, we think we skipped September, edition of the Men's Prayer Breakfasts Without Food. So, um, welcome. I'm glad to have you. It's been a minute. I miss each and every one of y'all. I know I had to take a couple of weeks off of church. We went on vacation and then quarantine. Luckily, no one's been sick. I am a little raspy today. I had a stomach bug this week and a little sore from everything coming up. So y'all bear with me while I do this today. But I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. Today we're going to start in Matthew 18. And it's been on my heart here lately to talk about people cherry picking the Bible. And maybe not cherry picking, because some passages you really have to have some context to. And there are some passages that, yeah, clearly you cherry pick that one, you didn't read before and after. But sometimes there's passages where they cross-reference with other books in the Bible, especially those in the Gospel. So today we're going to start with Matthew, and this one is widely used to essentially kick people out of church. So we're going to start in Matthew 18. Verse 15. And it says, "If your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault, between you and him alone. If he listens, then you have gained your brother. But if he does not listen, take one or two others along with you, that every charge may be established by the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. But if he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to even go to the church, let him be to you," this is kind of hard to read, "as a Gentile and a tax collector. Truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Again I say to you, if 2 of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am among them." The hard part for me to read is to treat, and I've got one page note, so this should be pretty quick. A tax collector, treat them as a tax collector. So are y'all ready to do some learning this morning, evening, whenever you're listening to it? So in those times, a tax collector could be like an independent contractor, where the Roman government would charge them a fee to essentially have like a license to collect taxes against the people that in the area that they live in. Basically, put if wherever they live, they can tax those individuals according to Roman law. So, that was just that side of it, though. The reason why a lot of tax collectors got such a bad rap was because they also charged their time on top of those taxes. So they would also extract taxes, quote unquote, or fees for the tax collecting, or their employees. Or they could be a toll collector, or another tax collector could be a toll collector, especially in high traffic areas, especially where merchants were. These types of tax collectors would take tariffs on goods that were in transit, trade. But regardless of that role, tax collectors were very unpopular people. I'm sure there were some fair tax collectors, some that took the appropriate charge for collecting taxes on top of the taxes that the Roman government had. But the temptation to pad the books and virtually be unchecked was extremely high. So I'm confused, because we go and we read other parts of the Bible, and Jesus is always talking about love. Love, 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 love. But then he's telling people that directly sin against you, these people are still sinners. People that sin directly against you, if you can't get along with them, then you're to treat them as the most unpopular people at the time. But I'm confused, right? Because we shuffle over to Mark in chapter 2, starting at verse 13. Let me read this to you right quick. You guys don't have to flip there. You can just back it up if you need to. Pause me. 2:13. This is where Jesus calls Levi, and he went out again beside the sea, and all the crowd was coming to him, and he was teaching to them. And as he passed by, he saw Levi sitting next to a tax booth. He said to him, "Follow me," and he rose and followed him. Levi rose and followed Jesus. And further into that evening, as Jesus reclined at the table, or as Levi reclined at a table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners were reclining with Jesus, and his disciples were there. And the scribes of the Pharisees, when they saw that he was eating with sinners and tax collectors, said to his disciples, "Why does he eat with those people?" And when Jesus heard it, he said to them, "Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick do. I came not to call the righteous, but the sinners." And this is also recorded in Luke. I think it's chapter 5. Yeah, because that's what I put in my notes. These are direct examples of Jesus hanging out with these same people that we're calling them to be. This passage that so many people use to correct sinners, especially within their own church, is taken out of concept. It hit me though. Matthew, this is recorded in Matthew, right? If your brother sins against you, Matthew 18:15 through 20 is recorded in the book of Matthew. So Matthew literally wrote these words down. But I read from a Bible that's not, like, I have to highlight my own stuff. I don't know it's not read. But in this passage, Jesus is talking. And he says, if you can't agree with them, and if you can't get a group of people to agree with them, you're to treat them as tax collectors. Matthew was a tax collector. Jesus hung out with Matthew. Jesus picked Matthew himself and said, "Follow me." Jesus showed him, led by example. I'm sure he preached at him. But more importantly, Jesus lived the life that he wanted everyone else to live. A sinless life. And the thing that hits is we're not supposed to be kicking people out of churches. We're not supposed to be casting people out. We're supposed to be inclusive. Could you imagine, the good tax collectors and the bad tax collectors? Jesus didn't just say take the good tax collectors. Jesus didn't say take the tax collectors that only agreed with your political opinion. Jesus didn't say hang out with the tax collectors that haven't sinned. Those that maybe enter your XYZ, ABC, whatever you think is wrong with them. Jesus is speaking directly to him, saying, hang out with them, relax with them, spend time with them, love them. Let me read it one more time. And if he refuses to listen to them talking about the church, let him be to you as a Gentile and tax collector. A lot of people stop right there. You can be mad and angry at tax collectors all you want to, knowing that Jesus spent time with them. But it goes into the next verse and says, truly I say to you, whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven. And whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Forgive those who sin against you and love them. That's all that I have for y'all. I hope to see y'all soon. See you Sunday. See you next month for the next Band of Brothers. Love you guys.